And welcome to episode 30,
30, baby.
30 of Ripping the Rack podcast. I'm your co-host, Tim.
I'm Brian. Hey,
and
happy Sunday, Tim.
Happy Sunday. Well, no, happy Tuesday morning.
Well, happy Tuesday morning to all our listeners. It's happy Sunday for us here in the time machine that we call the Ripping the Rack podcast.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure most of our audience knows we don't do this live on Tuesday mornings.
No, but we should do a live one sometime.
I think that would be fun. We'd go live on YouTube, right, for everybody to watch, or we could even put it on our Facebook page because we're available on YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Breaker, Spotify. iHeartRadio, iTunes. Every
you can reach us. You can reach us at rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com.
There we go.
Ripping the Rack podcast on Facebook.
Yeah. Or just go ahead and take some time out of your lovely day to drop Tim and I a line on Instagram or Twitter. Or Facebook or anywhere, And
we
got that.
And now on TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, TikTok.
And I'm now on TikTok.
I am on the TikToks as well.
Are you?
Kelly got me to watch the TikToks one day, and that turned into a 3.5 hour affair.
Oh my God! So Angie has been basically riding my ass to watch some of these videos on TikTok. And I keep declining. I keep being like, no, I'm not getting on TikTok.
Because you're an old man?
Because I'm an old man. So finally I was like, fuck it. I'll download it. Okay, fine. Now I forgot that I had downloaded it like 35 weeks ago. And I think I had it for like a couple of days. And I got rid of it because I'm like, I'm never going to use this. So I re-downloaded it, and about 2.5 hours later, at 2:00 in the morning, I am still watching videos.
Man, I'll tell you, you can find some stupid shit on, but you can find some gems. That's where I found that backyard sessions I sent you last night of Miley and Noah Cyrus.
Yes. Yeah. Which was phenomenal. Which
it's not what you think, backyard sessions with Miley Cyrus. No. This is music. It's actual music, and it's her. And is it her sister?
That's her sister. No, sister, I believe.
Okay, but they do a song that Noah had written called "I Got So High I Saw Jesus."
Yep.
And wow,
which is not what you think.
Right? No, it's incredible.
It's not. I don't believe it's about smoking the reefer so much that that your feet get perpendicular.
Or that you're so high you have to lay down and hold on to the earth so you don't fall off.
Yes. Or if you can't move for 45 minutes and you just start laughing uncontrollably.
Yep. All things that allegedly could
happen if you
when you smoke the devil's letters.
Yes. Because the song "I'll Never Smoke Weed with Willie Again."
I sure do.
Yeah. Well, I've changed that to "I'll Never Smoke Weed with Mark Carrier Again."
Wow, that was
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Speaking of TikTok, though, I had a thought. We should have a Candlepin TikTok community where we just do TikToks at tournaments or about bowling or, like Candlepin chat, but on TikTok. Like you get new bowling balls, you TikTok out. Look at these things. These will suck for me just as much, It's like the golf memes I see that are funny, and I try to translate that face you make when you shoot 115 with $1,500 clubs, and you're like, or it's that face you make when you throw an 85 with brand new Comets,
Yep. So I told Angie, because I watched I don't know how many videos, and I just kept scrolling.
And your algorithm is going to be all weird now.
And I well, the cool thing was, like, I saw some people I knew, like actual. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh wait,
I follow a couple people on TikTok, like Kerrigan. I follow Kerrigan Skinner on TikTok. She makes some funny stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I ran into Taylor Trask, TJ's dog.
That's how you do it on nowadays in the Rona times. You run into people online.
Yeah. So I'm like, I just some of the things that I saw, the cringe factor.
I know some of them, right?
Was enough for me to watch. Just be like, oh.
See, and some people will get this. This is my scale of awkwardness that I use. Like Freshie and these guys, it's the Michael Scott scale of awkwardness. Because there are some points in The Office where Michael Scott, for for those of you that don't know, that is the main character of The Office. And some of his awkward moments are just so cringy, I have to like look away from the TV because even though I'm not there personally, it's just too awkward. And there is some stuff on TikTok where you're just like 3 seconds in, you're like, nope.
Yep. Well, so by the way, I'm going to have a squirrel moment. Thank you for not watching porn on your big TV right now.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because I can see the reflection in your glasses. So I was like, oh, thank you. He's not watching porn. Nice.
Good. Hey, good to know. I didn't know that was a thing. So
I can't quite see.
new to this. So again, I'm glad it's not. No, it's just my background. It's my Jedi Fallen Order background because I'm a big nerd and I have all my games on my.
No, and that's fine. I was just like, I'm sitting there. I wasn't staring longingly into your eyes. I was trying to see.
Oh shit! Oh,
I was trying to see if you actually had the porn machine on your glasses there. So
no.
But anyway, getting back to TikTok. So the things that I watched and like I love music. I saw this guy dancing like through a mall. That was absolutely phenomenal. So I ended up following.
Oh, just doing like the whole
just
like
block
the slide,
and the slide and I was just like, it was incredible. So I followed him, and then of course the next one's obviously parents twerking, which actually I laughed out loud on, and I think I might have woken Angie up at one point because it was a father doing impersonation of their daughter, doing one of these dances. I don't know the dances. Kids these days, who the hell knows? But he ended up trying to twerk, and
God.
And he threw his back out, and oh my God,
That's what would happen to us if we tried.
I literally laughed out loud. So I told Angie I was going to start TikToking.
Oh goodness!
If she just
ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Mookie TikToks, Kitty TikToks, Tim doing weird dance TikToks. Let's not hope for not a lot, and bowling TikToks. I'm gonna have to start doing it too. I'll actually have to TikTok.
I don't know how to TikTok, but I'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And Kelly's going to be mad because Kelly wanted me to TikTok with her, and now that you're doing it, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Now I'm really going to get shit.
Well, that's on you.
Yeah, well, I know.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Bowling.
That's our podcast.
That's our podcast. So,
do we have any questions?
We got a bunch of things that we can talk about.
Nice.
I did have someone reach out to me, not through the normal Ripping the Rack podcast at gmail.com.
Which is fine. Which is
good. They asked, they would like to hear you and I discuss it. I want to say we discussed this before, but I don't keep a list of what we've talked about. So
right.
They want to know what we think makes a good clutch bowler or a good anchor bowler. That sometimes is one and the same. I attribute a good clutch bowler to be a good anchor bowler.
Yes, I feel that being clutch is a thing that should be on your resume if you're going to be in that 5 spot.
Yeah, and then who we feel are some of the best clutch bowlers, and maybe even give some examples, some performances that you've seen, things like that.
And I just thought of something that I want to follow up with after this because I thought it was interesting and it just came to my head. I know we didn't talk about it before, but I want to talk about who the best 4-5s are. Oh. There are some real good 4-5s in the bowling world.
Yeah. So before we get into that, let's talk a little bit for those of you that are unfamiliar with some of our terms that we use, the 4-5 bowler, things like that. So when we talk clutch bowlers or anchor bowlers, typically, at least as far as I'm concerned, I'm talking about a team event, which consists of your leadoff bowler, your number 1 through your number 5. There's typically 5 guys on a team, or 5 women, or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. Just 5 people on a team. So we've talked a little bit about what makes a good leadoff bowler. And now we're going to talk a little bit about what makes a good anchor bowler. But I like your thought of a good 4-5
combo of 2 guys who because there are some good ones. But to me, an anchor bowler, he isn't always your highest average. And I am of the mindset, at least in a tournament like the Worlds or maybe a marathon tournament, single string, I like to play matchups with anchor bowlers. If you're in an elite tournament like the Worlds, you hopefully have 5 guys in your lineup that can all bowl in that 5 spot at some point, or have in the past. I like to play matchups, and I think like it depends on what you think. If you think it's going to be they're all close matches, but if you get into that last string of a 3-string set and you're maybe up 10 or down 10, or you're going to need some shots, you have a better shot maker in the 5 hole, and those are guys that cut a lot of shots, make a lot of weird splits. Nate LeBlanc, Calvin, Corey, guys like that make a lot of splits on the Canadian side, and Baker makes his share of splits. Surrett's a good cut bowler, guys like that. Whereas if you're down a bunch of pins and you need a big string out of the anchor guy, and you need a guy who can make shots and then who can fill them with a lot of 9 drops. And a guy like that is Matt Harnett, I think. Matt throws a lot of 9 drops and he makes a lot of them. So it's good to have Matty down there if you're trailing, because he can make up, he's making up, even if you 10, he makes up 9 pins and then makes another one, and then there's 9 more. You're loading your fills with big scores. You're going to make up pins. So I think, to me, a good anchor bowler is who you have confidence in that suits your needs for that either tournament or day or match.
So I like that.
And nerves of steel and nothing shakes you. Those are 2 absolute must-haves.
Yes. So add in, you have to have a short memory. The guy that you have bowling anchor, the guy bowling last. Typically, if you're bowling in the types of tournaments that we do, that's 2 boxes at a time, places a little bit more premium on a guy with what I would call, your nerves of steel, your unflappableness, call it. Johnny Winchell is to me is a prime example of someone that, again, he may not be your highest average. He might be. I mean, he's that good of a bowler that he just might be your best bowler. But in 2 boxes at a time, and you come down to the final 2 boxes and you're up or down, I would put Winchell in there 10 times out of 10. I think
he should have done it in Moncton again this year.
Oh,
that was a prime example of how he did everything right that you're supposed to do as an anchor bowler. And he just got screwed by a bad break.
Yeah, he needed a double 7 to tie, double 8 to win.
Yeah, and he threw double 6.
He threw double 6, and the 6 was a baried 1-2 pocket headpin hit.
Should have been a triple, honestly.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it should have been a triple, but he didn't deserve the break he got, which was the picket fence. He didn't deserve it.
And another thing about guys like Johnny, like you were saying, is especially in a 2-box mindset, it's 1 out of 2. You got to have an anchor bowler that can go 1 out of 2 very consistently.
Yep. I think for me, your what constitutes a best clutch bowler is, again, when I talk about a short memory, it's one that forgets about the previous 8 boxes. Having a guy in the anchor spot, and I apologize for moving around so much. Man, I got a sciatic thing going on right now that's going right down the
honestly,
cheek, right down the leg.
Hey, real quick, you got a tennis ball?
Not
or baseball or something.
No, not right handy.
I was gonna say, just honestly sit on it on your ass cheek, on the sciatic.
No, I know it's.
Hey, do you think?
Go
ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead. You go.
Well, so I was going to say
what you said.
Yeah. So don't forget that question. So to me, it's when I talk about having a short memory, it's a guy that's going to forget about maybe missing an easy spare 2 boxes before. It's maybe got a bad break in the first half, couple of bad breaks in the first half type thing. And you forget about it and you just focus on those 2 boxes. There's a bunch of guys out there that can do it. And there are some great bowlers, literally great bowlers, that don't have that mindset, that don't make a good, they think they make a good anchor bowler. And if you ask them, they'll tell you they're an anchor bowler. But in my opinion, and I won't name names.
Oh, you can go ahead. There's a guy on our Wednesday Night League that bowls anchor that probably shouldn't bowl anchor, and you're staring at him. That's me.
Well, I'm looking at me.
Oh, well.
Now I was like, I don't bowl Wednesday nights.
Right. No.
No, it's. But to me, there is a difference. There is a difference between league and worlds.
Yes.
Obviously.
There's a difference between tournaments and worlds.
In worlds, when it comes to anchor bowling.
Yes.
Because we all know the guys in league that bowl great in league, throw them in a tournament, and they shit their pants.
Right.
So,
the thing that hinders me being a good world's anchor bowler, honestly, is, and you know this, I'm a good half anchor bowler. Because I might struggle for the first two, but then around three, I could throw three in a row and run it out. If I have to stop during that, it may not be that good. I'm a streaky bowler. That's my thing. Like, if I start getting breaks, I'll bowl good. I grind it out. I've had to learn how to grind it out. And that leads me to my question. Do you think you can become a good anchor bowler? Just kind of, you have it or you don't.
Oh, that's a good question. No, I think you can learn how to be an anchor bowler. I think you can become a good anchor bowler. I have seen some great anchor bowlers that were good in other sports.
Mm.
Maybe they were good in high school sports, and they brought that mindset over. It's a I don't know how to word this. So,
but you look at Jason Kaler, who was one of the best anchor bowlers that I know of, and he cheers the other dude on while he's bowling, and he's just up there bopping around, listening to tunes. And then you got guys like Robbie Henderson, who stares a hole through the backdrop, has that 1,000-yard stare, and has no emotion until his two boxes are over.
So this is a great thing about candlepin bowling, is everybody's different. I mean, I have had some great moments bowling in the anchor spot in the worlds and in leagues. I mean,
obviously winning it. I mean,
let's face it. I don't exactly take leagues very seriously. But when it comes down to the last half, and I'm beating you, and you sit back and say, Tim, we're down 20. Does a little extra gear get turned on? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Any good competitive tournament bowler has that gear, though. I feel.
Yes. Yeah, I would. Man, that sun is just.
I don't know. I'm in a basement. Maybe if I cut a skylight into the side, Kelly won't care.
Oh, maybe. No, the thing is that I had to learn how to become a bowler. I bowled on some teams early on that just because I was leading the team in average, they put me at anchor. I bowled with guys where they put their worst bowler first and their next worst and so forth until you get to your best. And then I bowled with Charlie Milan, and Charlie goes, no, we put, he almost does it the opposite. He almost puts the best bowler first. Basically, he puts the two best bowlers on the ends.
Yes.
Is how he looks at it. He's going to put what he thinks is your best two bowlers go 1 and 5. And then you fill in the middle.
Yeah, he also said one time, he goes, you can hide people in the 2-hole occasionally.
Yeah.
Like the 2-hole, it's not a lot. You're not leading off. There's not a lot of pressure to make up pins. He goes, you could put somebody who's struggling in a 2-hole, and that's the best place for a struggling bowler you don't want to take out. Or right. You can't.
Because you want them to work it through. You want them to work beyond the struggles. And I've also bowled with people where, and I still laugh about this. The very first string of the first match of the tournament on Tuesday morning after $4, they pulled someone.
I've been there. It's happened to me.
And I'm like, it's the first string of every. How are you pulling? Why are you pulling them?
Oh, it's hard to bowl with a hook over your head too.
There is. I am not a big fan of pulling people in the middle of a match if you don't have to, because we've all done it where you started a half with nothing and then you ended 4 or 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
We've all done it. That's just my take on it. Anyway, so what makes a good clutch bowler is again short memory. Obviously, you have to be decent enough to know, or not to know. You have to be decent enough that the person's going to throw marks when they need it. You can't necessarily put, my son who's bowled twice, put him in an anchor spot because he's clutch. Well, he might be clutch, but he's not good.
Yeah.
So I guess to me, I mean, I know I kind of danced around it because it's not an easy question to answer. Who are your best clutch bowlers currently? I'm going to go with Johnny Winchell. I'm going to go with, well, I mean, Surratt. I mean, am I going to put him 5th in the finals of the Worlds?
No.
Good. I'll let you say that to him next week when we talk to him. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't understand it either. He has no.
Because the only reason I say that is because he's told me, he goes, I wouldn't put me 5th.
Yeah. Baker is a great clutch bowler.
But look at underrated guys too that are super clutch that you don't think of when you like Bobby Witt is clutch.
Oh, Bobby Witt's a hell of a
absolutely. Joey Smith is clutch in 2 boxes. You need a couple marks.
Joe Smith to me is one of the, and it's funny. We could get into this argument with underrated bowlers.
Yeah.
Joe Smith to me is the epitome of the underrated bowler.
Oh yeah. He hits the head pin so much.
Joe Smith to me is he's a clutch bowler. And I don't care what anyone tells me. I've seen it enough in the Worlds to know that he's a clutch bowler.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Jason Kaler is an underrated clutch bowler that people don't give enough credit to. Some of that is on his doing because he hasn't bowled with some of the bigger teams.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not going to say that's his doing.
It's his choice.
It's his choice, I think, because if he wanted to bowl with, I don't even know, some of the teams are all breaking up all the time, but there's teams out there that he could bowl with where he would get more credit. He would get more.
He'd have more eyeballs on him.
He'd have more eyeballs on him. And people, when I say, Jason Kaler, they're like, oh, yeah, no, he's a good bowler. It's like, yeah, he is.
He's a really good bowler.
He's a really good bowler. And he's really underrated. And most people look past him. And some of that's his doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think obvious reasons, Matt Harnett, Corey Smith, Calvin Locke.
I've bowled with Chad Reed for about 5 or 6 years, him and Tommy in the 560 every year. There's a couple of good clutch guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, Tommy and Chad. Chad pulled a lot of matches for us. You watched last year in the 560. He pulled a couple of strings out for us that, with a 9-pin drop, make it, hammer, good quality break on that. Like, he's good at the end on 2 boxes.
You take a look at that, and most World's bowlers know who your guys in the clutch are.
Yeah.
Freshie Freshy's a good clutch bowler. People,
Fuller.
I think Fuller's a great clutch bowler. I'm going to throw my name in there. I'd like to think that I'm a good clutch bowler.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that I'm good enough that I can forget what's happened over the past 6, 7, 8 boxes and just focus on those two right there.
Yep.
And there's more. Obviously, there's more. There's so many
guys
bowlers
in the past that we aren't even talking about. Your Tommy Olston.
Oh well, look. Your
Holbrooks and
your Russ Neely, Charlie Milan. I mean, Charlie's one of the best clutch bowlers I've ever seen. Obvious reasons.
AJ, guys
Chip
like
Carson, Al Joy. Even Sean Morrison in when he was bowling. When he was
sharp.
he was really bowling. I'm not talking about just showing up for a tournament. I mean, when he was really bowling.
When I was bowling there in like the early 2000s, he was bowling Monday and Wednesday and every weekend. And
that would have been 2001-ish to
2006-ish.
12. About a 10-year stretch.
Yeah. Where he bowled all the time, yeah.
He bowled all the time. He was a great clutch bowler. He really was. You look at
Chris Merrill right now is very clutch.
Chris Merrill is a very clutch bowler. People again, I don't think they look at Chris. See, Chris is one of the funny ones to me because he's still young, but he's not young anymore.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
He's what, 31?
Around there.
But
he also I don't know if he's bowled anchor in a Worlds match yet.
I thought we put him there a couple of years. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Scotty Sparks.
Oh yeah, fat kid.
Again, good clutch bowler.
Older guy, honestly, on the Can-Am side, and Donnie Ferris.
And
I don't like going in the last 2 boxes either, like even with Donnie or up less than 10, because a 9-pin drop is coming or it's going to be a double somewhere.
He's beat me in the Can-Ams with just the last 2 boxes, and all of a sudden I think he threw a double strike at me just a couple of years ago, just a random bowled like shit, and all of a sudden you throw a double strike, and it's like you just kind of look like, where the hell did that come from?
But even with Donnie, when he's not marking, it's like $9, $10, $9, $10, $10, 10, double. Oh look, I threw 120 with 2 marks. Yep. They just happen to be together.
So for me, I mean, look, you could. I think we could probably talk forever on who we think are the best clutch bowlers. There are guys that I would rather have in that 5 hole. Brian Purdy.
Yeah. Purdy's a real solid anchor guy.
He's not going to be your best bowler on the team.
But he's going to make a lot of shots for you.
But at the end, pressure doesn't bother him.
I think the guy that you want in the anchor spot is the guy that on your team that's going to hit the head pin 8 or 9 or 10 times the strength. 12 ideally, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so much concerned about the first 5 boxes as I am the last 5. For me, with an anchor bowler, if the team is doing their job, then they put that anchor bowler in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
That's and a position to succeed doesn't mean you're up 40, and it doesn't mean it means that you have a chance. And either to hold that lead, and there are guys that bowl great with the lead. Vice versa, there are guys that bowl great when they're down.
Yeah.
And,
that was the joke with my dad for a long time. We didn't want Ray up. We wanted Ray down. We did not want Ray up pins.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, your father for a period of time was a really great clutch bowler.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then Father Time hit you.
yeah, and then Father Time, Craig Holbrook. Look, he's a legend.
He's
He
a
is
Hall of
Craig
Famer for a reason.
He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Um, one of the best clutch bowlers I've ever seen. Mark Gregory, again, another clutch bowler.
McGrady.
Look, you can go down the list.
So getting to the follow up I had asked earlier, real
Yes.
quick. 4.5s. I mean, I'm thinking of like Hollett and Henderson, you and Morrison for a long time. Those two guys that typically, Craig Holbrook and Bobby Witt, when you get to that 4 or 5 hole, there's two names you're going to see there, and it's two guys that no lead is safe with.
So,
or even if you had a particular person in a league you liked bowling in front of you, if you were bowling anchor.
Yeah. So Hollett and Henderson comes to mind as one of the best 4-5 bowlers. Sean and I.
Doesn't A+ usually have Nate and Maddie in 4, or Nate and Jerry sometimes too?
Yeah. I mean, I guess typically it would go Nate and Maddie or Maddie and Nate. Surratt and Baker, or
Surratt Barber.
But yeah, Barber goes anchor quite a bit for them. So Baker and Barber, Surratt and Barber.
Godwin and
you throw Godwin. Yeah. You throw Godwin in 5th.
So they have a 3 or 4 guys that can alternate in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what number one, they're all great bowlers. If we're talking Lucky Strike, they're all great bowlers. So you can mix and match depending on the matchups. You can mix and match depending on how people are feeling.
Yeah.
And let's face it, putting in the 5 spot, you could have Baker, you could have Barber, you could have Surratt, you could have Godwin. You could have Boudreaux. I like Boudreaux up in the 1 spot, but that's me personally. I like him as a leadoff bowler because he sets the tone.
I like him or Chris up there at the top for them.
Yep, I forgot about Bovair. Again, clutch bowler, Chris Bovair. So, your best 4-5, I like Freshie and I in the 4-5. Either way, me 4, him 5.
You and Jason on Thursday nights are fun in the 4-5.
Yeah, Jason and I in the 4-5 is fun. I like, so if I'm bowling 5th, I'll tell you what I like as an anchor bowler, the guy before me. I love a guy who's explosive before me. You take an Evan Riva. You take, I'm looking at guys that I have bowled with, Morrison. You take Winchell. I mean, a lot of different matchups. Yeah. I love a guy in the 4th spot that's an anchor bowler, but he's just bowling in the 4th spot because they're explosive. And, it just kind of sets the tone coming into the 5th, coming into that 5th guy. If your 4 guy goes out and goes strike, spare, strike, you're coming in on the high and you're throwing that ball with a little extra. If your 4 guy comes in and punches Spread Eagle and then picks one and goes 6-8, shit, right. You have the shit moment. To me, that's kind of what I'm looking for with a 4-5. There's a ton of them out there. There are some.
And I like to think when I'm bowling good, I am that guy in the 4 hole.
Yeah.
That finishes off a string real big. When I'm bowling good.
Well, let's preface that by saying when you're bowling good.
Which hopefully we'll have more coming up. So.
It's so you mentioned it earlier. You can hide a guy in the 2 spot. you can't hide a guy in the 4 spot.
No. Nope.
You know, that's the thing. And then your three hole is really, it's really an important position because
I call it the maintenance shaft. You're right in the middle, and basically you're like, all right, everybody ahead of me bowled good, so I guess I can bowl okay. Like, it's not unimportant. Like, it's important. I just need to maintain. But you also need a guy in there that's like, oh shit, we're getting buried. I need to start bailing out, and now I need to hit that extra gear.
Right.
I think he needs to be a Swiss Army knife in that 3 hole.
Yep. Yep. He's got to have the leadoff mentality with an anchor mentality at the same time.
Exactly.
And that's a tough role. It really is.
That's a Jerry Dunn. That's a guy who picks a lot of pins and throws a lot of strikes and makes a lot of spares, and also will not get beat by his man that often. Badly.
Right.
I mean, we all get beat, but Jerry's not going to get beat by 50 pins.
You know what's I know I'm missing a ton of people when you talk clutch. Chris Sargent. I knew I mean, say what you want about the guy. You can't discount. He is probably the best bowler or most explosive bowler I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, his stats and everything else show that. You know, he's the guy that if I had to pick one person right now with the match on the line in the 9th and 10th box, who do I want up out of everyone I've ever seen? He would be on the short list. Chris Sargent would be on the short list on that.
I have to agree.
Talking guys in their prime.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
You know, and anyone that says any different is just they're looking at the guy and not the bowler.
Right.
Hey,
so, you know, staying with bowling and kind of getting in around these topics, I read a post from Fuller the other day, yesterday, and, you know, I credit him, and I think he is making a tough but good decision. You know, the holidays mean a lot to us as people, and I know he has a big family that he's close with, and he has put his family ahead of bowling, and I credit him for that. I do. In my opinion, he's making 100% the right decision. And I think if it was financially feasible, I think all bowling alleys should shut down for December. So everyone that in the bowling community that's been affected recently, like we've had a lot of bad tests in the bowling community. You know, hoping for help for everybody, but I think we need to reconsider, as much as we love this sport, is it worth it right now with the holidays?
So I got talking to Angie about this because I've had a lot of tournaments lately. And with the rise of COVID, and it is the rise of COVID, we've seen it, especially here in Maine. Mm-hmm. It is rising. It's
off the rails, man.
It's you know, it's very difficult for me to make. Fuller made the right decision. I think he put his family first, and he's like, "Look, I'm not gonna bowl until the new year." Mm-hmm. You know, he's gonna focus. He's gonna go to work, and he's gonna go home, and he's gonna focus with a family. And I can't blame him for that. And thankfully, I have no tournaments in the month of January, in the month of December. Mm-hmm. I don't think.
Do we have the teams?
I think teams? I think that's in January. I think it's a mixed. I think it's mixed teams, and we don't have any women to bowl.
We're not going to be able to bowl, so okay.
I'm not bowling in the mixed teams. Right. So, if the bowling alleys could afford it, then, you know, shut down to January 1st. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Sadly, I don't know. I don't think, I would say maybe 1% of bowling alleys could afford to do that in this current time.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know.
And that's only if they can keep their restaurant / tavern bar open to sell food out of.
Right. I don't know many that could afford right now to shut down. So
it's hard bowling in the back of your mind. You're thinking, am I putting everybody I love at risk to do this? It is.
Yeah. No, it is. You know, I hadn't thought much about it until obviously you start seeing Cheech and those guys start testing positive.
Yeah.
I just found out Mario tested positive. She's been sick.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are on the mend. So it's a difficult decision. I don't know if that's a decision that I don't know if that's a decision.
I think it's different for us, and the reason I say that with you and me is our league is what, 50 people maybe.
Oh, it's less than that.
Yeah. Jason separates everybody with a league that small. We bowl one team to 2 lanes. So you bowl on 1 and 2, and the team you're bowling's on 3 and 4.
Yep.
You bowl opposite sets of lanes, so you're staggered. It's different for us. We're not in a population density quite like, guys like Fuller and, Cheech and Mario and the people who are in Mass and New Hampshire. A denser population than we have here in the mid-coast.
Yeah.
Thankfully, in our zip code, we have 40 cases right now, and most of those, unfortunately, are at a long-term care facility in our town.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I got it. Yeah.
I mean, we had 46 cases in Rockland, and 35 of them were at Woodlands, Tim. So it's a little, the numbers tell a different story for Rockland than what it shows, but it doesn't mean we have to be less careful. Like I said, it's a decision. If push came to shove and Kelly said, I don't want to put my parents at risk. I want them to have their quarantining, which they are. Both, her parents are staying in their house until Christmas, so they can come spend it with Colin. They live in Millinocket, which is in Penobscot County, which is hit hard right now. And if she said, Brian, I want you to, I'd be like, okay, I would tell Jason, I'm sorry. Here's a check for it, and I'll see if I can find people to bowl for me. But I would make the same decision. And some people may say, Brian, stop being scared. It's not being scared, folks.
It's not being scared. It's just being reasonable. And that's the thing that's the biggest thing right now that I went to Walmart this morning, and thankfully most people are following the guidelines. Most people are wearing their masks. But there are a few that still come in. They might have a mask, but it's just covering their mouth. They might have
it looks their nose hanging out looks like their dick hanging out of their underpants.
Yeah. It's frustrating to me. It's like, folks, if we all just followed along, we would get back to some semblance of normal far sooner than what we're doing. I don't know. Call me a sheep. Call me whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I've lost friends on Facebook. I wouldn't say I've lost them, but I've unfollowed a bunch that just, not everything is conspiracy. Not everything is the government's not trying to take your rights away.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Asking you to wear a mask isn't taking any rights away. I don't know anywhere.
They asked your 18-year-old grandfather probably to leave home and go die on a beach in France, so you could say, I can't stay on my couch for 2 weeks and wear a piece of cloth over my face.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating to me. Next week we will have a guest.
The franchise.
We will have Mr. Jeff Surrett next week on for the episode.
And then we'll have to look. If we're gonna have guests, then we're gonna alternate, and we got to find a Canadian for our next interview. After we had Calvin, now we get Jeff
or a Mainer or a New Hampshire.
Oh, we could go. Yeah,
or a female
or a Nova Scotian
or it could just be you and I again.
It could be. You'll have to tune in and see.
You'll have to tune in to see. We are running up against the time, so we're gonna cut it here.
Yep.
I
hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
I was just gonna. You stole my thunder.
Sorry, I do that quite frequently.
You thunder stealer, you.
Yeah, I'm just a I just have Thunder Country all over me, don't I?
No, you're definitely a Thunder Country kind of guy.
There's the reason I say that is Kelly's sister used to live in North Carolina. And when we went down to see her once, the radio station was 105.5 Thunder Country. And I just had to laugh.
Thunder Country, yes.
Yeah, Thunder Country.
Thunder Country. Have a great week, all. Don't forget, we will have this. You'll be listening to this Tuesday. Don't forget our Friday episode will be up Friday morning as well. We are on Tuesdays and Fridays. You can find us on Ripping the Rack Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Anchor Breaker,
Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, anywhere you can check out podcasts. And don't forget to check me out subsequently on Sunday nights. John Steiner's Twitch channel, Johnny Death Drop, Dudes and Belts Chatcast. We're also on Spotify now, so you can listen to the audio version if you can't watch live on Twitch.
All right, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Stay safe.